Thanks very much for inviting me to California. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks to Ori Inbar, who heard me talk a few months ago at the Wearable Tech Show in London. I want to put things in perspective really here in terms of the global picture, which is my own interest in health and education. And the Lancet Commission came out in April of this year, and it showed that there was about 5 billion people out of 7 billion who don't have access to safe and affordable surgery. That's a huge number of people. It's the first time it's been quantified, and I think it's the most important paper in surgery for the last 100 years. If you go further forward to further numbers, of course, you find that there's another 143 million operations that need to be performed to maintain equity on the world stage, to make sure that everybody gets their operations appropriately. And these are simple operations, not major complex procedures that I may undertake for cancer, for example. It's all estimated for that we need about 2.2 million surgeons or anaesthetists to run that show, to be able to train and teach people and to practice medicine. With that in mind, of course, is how does wearables, how does AR and VR work in this space? About a year ago, we started a project using the Google Glass, and we did a big thing for Google Glass itself and showed how we could use a connectivity, a simple device to project a training method. We used the glass about a year ago. I did a live operation, and it went throughout the world. We trained 14,000 students and trainees across the globe in 132 countries and 1,100 cities, live operating. They were feeding into my stream on a web platform which we created with virtual medics. And they could text me during the operation into my glass. I could answer them directly. And so they're suddenly becoming part of this bigger world. You can see the penetration of a simple device and connectivity, which I think is the value of wearables in this field, and certainly AR and VR will fit into that. Australia, you'll notice 5,000 Australians will log in every time I operate because they feel suddenly included in this bigger world, purely because of that connectivity issue, and they feel a bit isolated from the rest of the world. How does that superimpose with the effects of the Lancet Commission? Well, if you look at the Lancet Commission showing the areas of low and middle income countries, you can see actually our penetration with the simple wearable technology actually answers some of the questions they're asking. How do you teach? How do you train? How do you deliver that level of expertise throughout the world? And you can see that actually using wearables may be an answer. Moving forward, we managed to have our medical school engaged into this, and we're the first medical school outside North America to put glass into a curriculum as a standard integrated pathway, and also the Lancet reported it saying it's a good idea, actually, in medical healthcare that we should be moving on to wearables. In fact, I was quite lucky enough to be able to train John Scully, the ex-CEO of Apple, who's sacked Steve Jobs, to do a minor operation live through the internet. And actually, he wasn't bad for 72 years of age, I must admit. Maybe we should send back to medical school. We moved on from that. That's one thing. What about virtual reality? This whole discussion the next few days is about AR and VR. We've done both. And my whole aspect is how do we bring VR into the operating theatre? The health minister of Dubai is very keen on operating, it seems, and he looked at our video that we created using a 360 camera. We actually used a rig about 3 or 4 months ago. It was the first time anybody in the world had done 360 video in the operating theatre, and we stuck it on the YouTube platform, and you can see it live if you want to, and play around with it. It's on the device here. If we've got time afterwards, one of you might be able to have a look and see how it works. If you go to the YouTube platform, which came out in about February of this year, this is the video you see, created from 6 GoPro cameras. We had made our own rig at that time, and it's a high-quality, high-definition video. We've now, in this system, added interactivity, there'll be CGI graphics, etc., to immerse someone into the operating theatre. Previous simulation, previous training are rather boring, they're rather benign, and not exciting at all. We have to think outside the box, how we create this immersive environment for future surgeons, to allow them to get through their learning curve much quicker, and hopefully persuade them to participate in that global health education that we described earlier. Thank you very much.
Has there been any thought given to how that curriculum can now be assessed via augmented reality or intensive like that?
Yeah, we are. So assessment is quite important to see how the efficacy of anything you do. Glass isn't the only part of it. It's the whole education platform. We use Glass for POV videos. If you look at communication skills, we do 3 Glass videos from the patient's perspective, the student's perspective, and a side view. And we get feedback from that. And we feel that's a much better way of integrating that into the curriculum. We've evaluated it, we present our work in London, and it's valuable. 90% of our students think it's a good idea. So therefore, we're not too far. And we've actually moved from 24th medical school in the UK to 3rd last year because of integration of these sorts of technology. So they do like it.
Shafi, I have a question. How many actual surgeries have been performed using this technology?
We've done about 17 operations from all specialties. We've tested the environment in a controlled manner. Obviously, when you do this thing, there's some risk attached to it. We've mitigated risk. We've done orthopedics, chiropractics, general surgery, and whatever, with all specialties, just testing out where we are with the platform. We're now very happy with the environment we've created for teaching and education, as well as answering the questions about ethics, confidentiality, all the issues that might arise from using wearables. And actually, we're very careful, and we're very happy with the end product. And now everyone in the hospital is engaging and using the glass.